You keep wanting an empire, but you keep acting like you can skip the damn stages. This is Fired Up Friday, and welcome back to the Bad Influence podcast with yours truly, Jordan Banderas, where you don't get comfort, you get built. You don't need a pep talk, you need a process you respect. And today's truth is this. Everything has to be built in stages, and if you skip one, it breaks later. You want something unbreakable, but you don't want the boring development phase. You want the finished building, but you don't want the foundation. You want the money, the body, the brand, the relationship, the results, without the reps. That's not ambition. That's delusion with a vision board. Yes, it is. The truth is simple. The stage work is what makes you dangerous. Stage work is what makes you solid. Stage work is what makes you last when pressure hits. Your problem isn't talent. Your problem is impatience. You keep trying to jump from idea to victory like you're above the grind. You're not above it. You're either built through stages or you're built to break. Development is where you suck on purpose. Foundation is where you learn what holds weight. Execution is where you earn respect. Refinement is where you stop leaking weaknesses. Mastery is where you become unshakable. But you quit at stage 1 because your ego can't handle looking new. You stop when it gets slow because your brain wants a dopamine hit, not a legacy. You keep calling it burnout, but it's really boredom and fear. You don't want to be a beginner, so you stay average forever. And here's the mirror line. You don't need a breakthrough. You need discipline that survives boredom. You don't need more ideas. You need more breaks. You don't need hype. You need stages and standards. If you want an empire, you build it like a builder, not like a talker. You lay the brick when nobody's watching. You lay the brick when you don't feel like it. You lay the brick when it's boring and slow and quiet. Because that's the only way something becomes unbreakable. Today, you stop skipping steps and you start earning your future one stage at a time. You hit stage 1 and your body gets excited because new feels clean. Your chest opens, your mind races, your energy spikes like you're already winning. Then stage 2 shows up, and your nervous system starts acting like you're in danger. Your stomach tightens when the work gets real. Your shoulders creep up when the results don't show fast. Your breath gets shallow when you realize you have to repeat the same move again. You call it losing motivation, but it's your body hating uncertainty. Stages require patience, and patience feels like torture to an ego that wants proof now. So you start doing what you always do. You rush. You skip. You patch instead of build. You take shortcuts because shortcuts calm your anxiety for a minute. You want the fast win because the fast win makes your nervous system feel safe. But the fast win always creates a weak spot. And weak spots don't show up on day 1. They show up when pressure hits. Your day-to-day pattern looks like this. Ready? You start strong, then you hit the boring phase, then you disappear. You work when you feel inspired, then you vanish when it feels slow. You don't hate the goal, you hate the feeling of being in the middle. Because the middle stage makes you feel exposed. It makes you feel like a beginner again. Oh, yes, it does. And your nervous system reads beginner as unsafe. Your heart rate jumps when you don't know what you're doing. It happens. Your jaw clenches when you make mistakes. Your face gets hot when you feel behind. So you do avoidance moves that look productive. You reorganize. You research. You redesign. You buy tools. You make plans. None of it is the brick. Then you tell yourself you're building, but you're really stalling. Yes, you are. You skip the development reps because you don't want to look sloppy. You skip the foundation work because nobody claps for it. You skip the boring steps because they don't feel like progress. But boring steps are the only steps that hold up an empire. And your body knows you're lying to yourself. That's why you feel restless even when you did stuff. That's why you feel tired even when you didn't build. Your nervous system is exhausted from fighting the work. You carry guilt in your chest like a weight. You carry regret in your stomach like a knot. You get irritated because deep down you know you're skipping the stage that will change your life. You start comparing yourself to people who stayed in the boring phase longer than you. You call them lucky because the truth will hurt. The truth is they stayed when their nervous system wanted to quit. They laid bricks while their hands shook. They kept showing up while their chest felt tight. They didn't wait to feel ready. They trained readiness. And you can feel the cost of not doing that. You start things and don't finish. You restart constantly. You live in almost. And almost slowly kills your self-trust. Your confidence dies because you don't have proof. Your identity stays weak because you keep skipping the part that makes you strong. That's why your empire feels like a fantasy instead of a structure. That skipping habit didn't start with business or goals. It started with survival. You learn early on that being seen falling can hurt. You learn early on that mistakes can get you shamed. You learn early on that effort doesn't always get rewarded. So you build a role that protected you. You became the one who only shows up when you're confident. You became the one who quits before anyone can judge the result. You became the one who keeps things in progress forever. That role felt smart because it avoided pain, but it also avoided growth. Now you carry that same role into every stage. Development stage asks you to be messy. Your nervous system hates messy. Your chest tightens because messy feels like exposure. Foundation stage asks you to go slow. Your nervous system hates slow. Your stomach knots because slow feels like uncertainty. Execution stage asks you to repeat. Your nervous system hates repeat. Your jaw clenches because repeat feels like boredom. Refinement stage asks you to face flaws. Your nervous system hates flaws. Your face gets hot because flaws feel like shame. That's why you rush and skip. Skipping calms your fear for a moment. But skipping creates hidden cracks that show up later. The root wound is simple. You tied your worth to look incompetent. Yes, you did. So you avoid the stages that make you look like a beginner. You want the identity of a builder without the season of being built. But there is no empire without stage pain. The stage pain is the tuition. And if you don't pay it, life will charge you later with interest. That's why you react now when things get slow. Your body thinks slow means you're losing. That's an old belief, not a fact. Slow is how the foundation becomes real. Slow is how your nervous system learns safety through repetition. Awareness is the switch. When you notice your urge to skip, you can choose a different move. When your chest tightens, you can breathe instead of sprint. When your stomach knots, you can break the work smaller instead of quitting. When your jaw clenches, you can stay in the rep and train boredom tolerance. That's the simple depth. The stage doesn't just build the project. The stage builds you. It builds your patience. It builds your self-trust. It builds your ability to hold pressure without folding. And once you understand that, you stop seeing stages as delays. You start seeing stages as the exact training that makes you unbreakable. You start with a big vision and a loud heartbeat. Your chest feels open like you can finally breathe. You tell yourself, this is it, and your body lights up. You start fast because fast feels like confidence. The first week is pure adrenaline. You wake up early, you write plans, you move like a machine. Then the development stage hits you in the mouth. The work looks uglier than the idea. Your stomach tightens when the first attempt fails. Your face gets hot when you realize you don't know what you're doing yet. You try to force it, and your jaw clenches hard. You stay up late fixing, but really you're fighting shame. Day 10 arrives and the progress feels slow. Your breath gets shallow when you check results and see nothing big. Your nervous system starts whispering, this is pointless. You start searching for shortcuts like a hungry dog. You watch other people's wins and your chest sinks. You start comparing and your confidence drains. You decide to improve your strategy, which is code for escaping the reps. You redesign the whole thing instead of building it. You feel busy, but your project stays weak. One morning you sit down and your hands feel shaky. Your stomach is knotted and you feel the urge to quit. You hear a thought. You're not built for this. Your throat tightens like it wants to swallow the dream. You almost close the laptop because closing it will calm your body. But you don't close it. You put both feet on the floor and breathe low like you're training control. You say in your head, you don't need perfect, you need reps. You choose one small task and you do it ugly. Your heart's still racing, but you finish it. That night, you feel a new feeling. Respect for yourself. Not because it was easy, but because you stayed. The next week, you move into foundation mode. You stop trying to impress and start trying to hold weight. You build the boring parts first. Yes. The systems, the schedule, the checklist, the daily time block. Your nervous system throws a tantrum because boring feels like death. Your jaw clenches again and you want to chase excitement. You don't chase it. You keep laying bricks. Then pressure hits. A bill comes up. A tool breaks. A customer complains. Your chest tightens like a fist. Your stomach drops and your mind starts screaming doom. You feel the urge to panic post, panic buy, panic change everything. That's your old habit trying to skip stages again. You pause. You breathe slow. You say in your head, this is a stress test, not a sign to run. You fix one thing instead of everything. The fix is small, but it holds. You realize the foundation saved you. A month later, you move into execution mode. You do the same actions daily like it's a job, not a mood. Some days your body feels heavy and your chest feels tight. You do it anyway. You stop making motivation the boss. You start making standards the boss. Then refinement shows up with a knife. You see flaws in your work and your face gets hot again. Your ego wants to defend because defending feels safe. You don't defend. You refine. You adjust one piece at a time. You collect feedback without collapsing. Your nervous system gets louder then quieter because it's learning a new rule. The rule is you can handle discomfort and still move. Then one day you look back and realize something wild. The stage pain didn't ruin you. The stage pain built you. You're calmer under pressure. You don't chase shortcuts as much. You trust your process because you survived it. And you finally understand why empires are built brick by relentless brick, not by hype and hope. Now the theme becomes your rule of life. Everything gets built in stages and you don't skip a damn step. Because skip steps don't disappear. Skip steps come back as breakdowns. If you want something unbreakable, you grind through each stage until it holds weight. Your nervous system will fight you the whole way. It will tighten your chest when things get slow. It will knot your stomach when results don't show fast. It will clench your jaw when boredom hits. It will spike your heart when pressure tests your foundation. That's not a sign the stage is wrong. That's the stage doing its job. Now here's the fork in the road. Path 1 is you staying a step skipper. You chase excitement, then vanish when it turns into reps. You build on vibes, then panic when reality demands structure. You start strong, then crumble under pressure because the foundation is fake. You call it bad luck, but it's bad process. You keep restarting because restarting feels clean. You keep telling yourself next time will be different. Next time is never different if you keep skipping. You end up with a life full of half-built dreams and full-built regret. You end up with a nervous system that's always anxious because nothing is stable. You end up tired from chaos you created. That's one path. Path 2 is you becoming a real builder. You treat stages like law, not suggestions. Development means you practice while you suck. Foundation means you build systems before you chase results. Execution means you show up daily even when your body feels heavy. Refinement means you fix flaws without taking it personal. Mastery means you become calm under pressure because you've been tested. That path creates stability inside you first. Your nervous system starts trusting you because you stop quitting. Your body starts calming down because your life stops being random. Now, the simple instruction list, so you can stop fantasizing and start building. Step 1. Name your current stage. If you're learning, stop acting like you should be winning already. Plain and simple. Step 2. Pick the daily break for that stage. Just one. One rep. One task. One small build. Step 3. Schedule it like it's a non-negotiable. Your calendar is your character. Oh, yes, it is. Step 4. When your chest tightens, slow your breath and stay. Don't sprint. Don't skip. Stay. Step 5. Track what holds and what breaks. Breaks are not shame. Breaks are data. Oh, yes, they are. Data makes your foundation stronger. Oh, yes, it does. Step 6. Raise your standards slowly, not your stress. Bigger breaks come after small breaks hold. Now, the identity rewrite. Pay attention. You are not a hype person. You are a builder. You are not an ideas person. You are a stages person. You are not a quitter. You are consistent on purpose. You are not fragile. You are trained. Yes, you are. You are not confused. You are in development, and that's normal. You are not behind. You are building right. You stop disrespecting small steps. You stop looking for shortcuts. You stop calling boredom a problem. Boredom is the price of a strong foundation. And when pressure hits, you don't panic. You breathe low. You loosen your jaw. You choose the next brick. You fix one thing. You stack one more rep. That's how you become unbreakable. That's how your empire stops being a fantasy. Now make it real today. Pick your stage. Pick your brick. Lay it even if your hands sweat. Lay it even if your heart races. Lay it even if it feels boring. And if you want accountability, make it public. Drop your stage and today's break in the comments. Not your dream. Your brick. This is Fired Up Friday, and you don't get to pretend you want greatness while you keep skipping the steps that create it. Share this with a friend who keeps restarting instead of refining. Share this with a person who wants results but hates reps. Share this with the one who keeps calling discipline too much while their life stays small. Hit that subscribe button, because if you keep coming back, you keep getting built. You stop living off motivation. You stop trusting vibes. You stop letting fear rush your process. You stop trying to look like a winner before you do the work. You start laying bricks in silence. You start respecting the stages. You start building foundations that hold weight. You start executing like it's your job. You start refining without excuses. You start mastering pressure without folding. And one day, you look up and your life is stable, strong, and real. Not because you got lucky, because you stopped skipping, because you stayed in development, because you built the foundation, because you respected the boring stage, because you laid the brick anyway, because you did again, and you did again, and again, and again, until the structure could not be denied. That's how empires get built. That's how legacies get formed. That's how you become the type of person pressure can break. So stop begging for the finish line. Start loving the stages. Start owning the reps. Start building your life like you actually mean it. Brick by brick. Stage by stage. With no skip steps. With no excuses. With no fake starts. With standards that don't move. With discipline that doesn't care about mood. With actions that match your mouth. And remember, the choice is yours.